Hey everyone, thanks for being here at USA Crypto Group for this AMA session. We have a project called CliQverse with us today. CliQverse is building a world-first net zero carbon footprint-based social virtual reality metaverse platform. So with that, I'd like to welcome Bennett from the team. Bennett, pleasure to have you here. If you can start out introducing yourself, talking about your team, and give us a bit of insight into your background experience.
First of all, before I introduce myself, I'd like to thank you, our hosts, the USA Crypto Group, for the invitation and opportunity to us to introduce our CliQverse project and our Click token to your community, because we are guests here. And secondly, my thanks to all of you that have taken the time to attend and accepted the invitation from our host to attend this session. I thank you. For those who may not have read our light paper, allow me to introduce myself. I'm one of the 5 co-founders of the CliQverse project. I've been with the project since its inception in October 2017. So we've been at this for some time now. I'm a practicing commercial lawyer. Don't take that away from me. This means I'm an officer of the court in the Supreme Court of Victoria, Australia. So there are ethical issues that are attached to my involvement in the sense that of ensuring that we're acting ethically all the way. What we present and any representations that we make are not in breach of the Australian consumer law. That is important. And I'm also a PhD candidate in law and have been in business for more than 2 decades. I'm using 2 decades because if I give you the actual figure, probably some will start to calculate my age, even though I look so young. Now, you've asked a very important question in your introduction for us to explain, first of all, the net zero and carbon footprint. For those who are not familiar with that concept, what it simply means that in terms of the carbon footprint, that, for example, like now, what we're doing now, the session we're having now, our use of electronic equipment, means that we are actually generating carbon footprints due to the use of the energy that we are actually consuming in this session or any other session. So the carbon footprint are simply associated to the quantity of carbon that you are actually producing in your digital footprint. This is specific to our case here, and it is measured in kilos. I won't get into that because then it opens a whole lot of things in there. In terms of the net zero simply means that you can actually, even though you've generated those footprints, in other words, you are actually contributing to the climate change. There are things that you can do to mitigate what you've done, the footprints you've created. So what that means, you can actually buy carbon offsets. There are 2 sets. You've got the voluntary ones and you've got the government ones. Those are regulated, but our involvement is on the level of voluntary carbon offsets. So what that means that you've generated the carbon footprint and you are actually buying carbon offset from somebody who has done activities somewhere else to reduce basically carbon being emitted into the atmosphere. That's a net zero calculation, and you probably have read more about it. The COP28 is happening in Dubai, I think this weekend. But at the level of the individual and the adoption of those concepts, when I talk about individual, that is that is our primary focus. So we're not into the regulated carbon credits. We are more focused on the voluntary carbon offsets, which is also equatable to carbon to credits. Now, this you've asked about the background about our project, and I appreciate that, because really for the last 6 years we haven't had the opportunity to be talking about ourselves. So I think we can do that to the extent that we actually being kicked out. We love our project. That is all I'm saying. The main aim of the CliQverse project, the concept of it, was to build a cryptoverse where everyone can live their dreams with net zero carbon footprint today. So if you associate what I said before, we're talking about creating a platform, a social media platform that people can actually use and erase their carbon footprints. But in broad terms, though, we are focused on pioneering the path to a sustainable future, because for the 6 years we've spent building and refining the concept that we're dealing with, of course, we have evolved. So for us, the issue of pioneering the path to a sustainable future where virtual reality meets carbon neutrality and blockchain, which is what we're looking at, empowers change, and communities can unite to build a greener world with net zero carbon footprint. Now, when we conceived this project in 2017, our aim was to build a platform that could just do that, enable everyone to be anywhere at any time, immersively, without being limited physically or financially. So this meant creating a platform that was accessible to all, also not a preserve of the rich and the elite, because then we will be falling short, because a majority of the people that we are looking at to adopt this sustainability concept are in the lower financial category. We also wanted to ensure, as I said before, everything experienced on our cryptoverse. Now we're talking about the whole cryptoverse, not just this platform, because for those that have been able to read our light paper, you'll realize there are several pillars to our project. So we wanted to make sure that people could participate in our cryptoverse, but leave no carbon footprint. Lastly, we also had to make sure that we are not reinventing the wheel, because people are naturally conservative in some ways when you're introducing certain concepts that are disrupting their lives. So we had to make sure that the concept itself and the platform that we are actually building, we're not reinventing the wheel. We are simply doing something that is better than what is actually available to the people at this point. And like with every good project, our concepts, as I indicated before, have evolved with time and made room for good ideas over the years. To realize our objective, we conceptualize the pillars for the project, and we categorize them into core and non-core pillars. In this AMA, we will focus on 5 principal pillars of the project only. The other pillars, I'm pretty sure for those that are interested in our project, you can access our light paper, and you can actually contact us, and we'll be more than happy to clarify or provide further information if that is required. Now, before I move on, there's one thing I wanted to ask, and this is just a check for myself, that if I am speaking too fast or too slow, I ask you to let me know, and I will adjust accordingly to make myself clearer to everyone. That is where we came from.
Thank you so much, Bernard, for the great introduction there. Seems like you do have an extensive background in business as well, which is great. Now, let's recap so that way our community fully have understanding what the project's about. Like Bernat just explained, carbon footprint is pretty much the measurement of the gases are being produced, right? Every day we produce this gas, mainly carbon
Correct.
dioxide, whether that's driving, whether that's consuming a certain food, right? So now we know what that is, right? So what they're trying to do is trying to create a metaverse that's net zero. Pretty much you balance it out. So you emit this carbon monoxide. They're trying to figure out a way how to eliminate it or counterbalance that. So that's why it's mean net zero. Now, before we go on, Bernat, I want to ask you, can you speak on some of the negative implications that it has, that the carbon has in the world? And I'm pretty sure, and that's the reason why it inspired you to build this project. So can you speak on that, the negative impact that it has on the environment?
The symptoms of the problem are clear to everyone now. Now we cannot deny. Number one, the planet is burning. In largely, we've got uncharacteristic heat levels during different times when we are meant to be having lower figures. And we're also looking at the icebergs melting. We're also looking at droughts. We've got a situation where that if we were to continue this way on this path, we basically everything else that we value so dearly will be meaningless, because it will be very hard for us to be able to project, to plan, and to be able to live the lives that we've created for ourselves. Now, there's one thing that you said in there that was very important before, and you explained our concept clearly in terms of what we are actually trying to build. The other thing, too, I wanted to mention is that when I talked about our ideas evolving, it occurred to us that we could actually not only just focus on creating a metaverse that is net zero, but the tools that we've actually conceptualized and we are actually building, those tools could actually be used beyond our own setting. And I will elaborate more on that as we go along. But it is this. It is simply saying that you can actually, we've designed it in a way, we've evolved in a way that beyond our own cryptoverse, the applications of our platforms or the tools that we've created can actually be of use to the world, to the fight against climate change, to the extent that we are actually creating a decentralized way of actually getting people to participate in climate actions, which is the biggest problem at the moment. You've got the Talkfest that is happening in COP28. Most people are not switched on it. And people like us that are aware of it, we don't support it. And we simply don't support it because we're talking about the same polluters now actually trying to dictate how this problem should be managed at their rate, and also at the same time, the same people that created the problem are the same people that are setting themselves up to be able to generate profits from their problem. And what we are saying with our project is that we can actually circumvent all of that by building this concept of community builders, which I'll touch on later on, that we can actually get people to incentivize each other, have tangible rewards for people to participate in this process, and also at the same time just to make sure that even though for example, the people in COP28 are designing a system that they are going to control. We are simply saying that if you want us to participate in that system, you'll have to buy the carbon credits from our community builders that have used our tool to generate those carbon offsets that you require to achieve your goals. And secondly, we are moving at a rate that is not attached to your rate. If we are great, we are lucky to the extent that we have the adoption rate is so good that you've got all these community builders located in where they refer to it as the lungs of the world. You're talking about Brazil, you're talking about Congo, you're talking about Papua New Guinea, you're talking about where the forests are. And we're saying the people that are sitting in offices in Wall Street are not the same people that are actually experiencing this problem in the jungles of Papua New Guinea. So we are saying that's where we need to target our efforts in terms of making sure we have community builders located near in those regions or closer to those regions, and there is a wealth distribution that allows those people to be incentivized to create those carbon offsets that we need for our cryptoverse, for our platform users to erase their carbon, but also for the wider community to use to erase their carbon footprints. This is what we are building.
Very awesome. And I think, like me, as I get older, I'm definitely more, I guess, mindful, of things that I do and the things that could impact the environment around me, right? So I think if everyone holds self-accountable, and just recognizing that we are leaving this world to our kids, I think we can make better decisions. And this is exactly what this company is doing, is that it's trying to ensure that the world is sustainable. And this is one of the steps. So it's obviously you guys are building a project around environmental awareness and mindfulness, because we all have heard of what is that saying? Global warming, right? We all have heard of it. So they're literally trying to, I guess, taking the steps to mitigate that, right? The climate change. So that's I guess, one of the core factors around this project here. So thank you for the introduction.
Sorry, excuse me.
If
I could interject, there's something you've mentioned there about those activities and actions that are being taken. And I go back to one of the questions. You didn't ask it that way in terms of the problems, but I will introduce a different sort of problem that people can actually think about. And this is actually a real problem. Now, when this concept of carbon offsets was introduced a couple of years back, you notice when you are buying airline tickets or you are using your visa, you are using you are being asked to basically purchase, pay an extra amount, and they will offset it for you. It turns out our biggest problem then, and still is a bigger problem now, mostly by those big polluters, is that now greenwashing became a business. What that meant, if you are actually paying, you had been charged, or you are paying for these services over the years, you are actually buying worthless carbon offsets, and that's a problem that we identified, and we asked ourselves, how can we avoid ourselves being caught up in that? And you notice the Click Exchange, the three platforms which are part of our core pillars that we built. We've got the social VR metaverse platform, which is the one we're discussing about the connections and the issues of people being able to see things and consume things virtually without being digital characters. And then we've got the exchange that we thought was absolutely necessary to make sure that the integrity of our carbon offsets are under our control. that people who actually genuinely believe they want to buy an carbon offset could actually come to our exchange and be confident that the carbon offsets they are actually buying are actually real carbon offsets. And the way we did that, we spent a lot of time trying to work out the integrity of the system, just to make sure that how can we use blockchain in a way that ensures that that carbon offsets can be sold twice. People can't game the system as they've done so before. And also at the same time, just to make sure there is transparency in the sense that we have it now with blockchain assets, that anybody at any place can actually get information about the carbon offsets that are actually available on our platform. So when you are talking about the activities that are being undertaken at the moment, I will caution people and say there is is it dark lining, whatever you call it, in that sphere, that you have to make sure that the carbon offsets that you are actually talking about or you are buying, you are not actually contributing to the problem. You're not actually generating carbon footprints and buying fake carbon offsets, which means the net results, you've actually contributed to carbon our climate change problem.
Very awesome, and that's awesome to hear that you guys have a measure to ensure that the carbon offset that they're getting on your exchange, and we will go in depth later. That is legitimate, right? Not like you said, not literally. The opposite to that is literally you buying something that is fake, and in contrast, you are actually creating more carbon footprint, which is not good. So, which is the opposite of what this company is trying to do. Yeah. So I think we have a better understanding what you guys are trying to build now. So with that being said, Bennett, go ahead and present the project. You can start anywhere because I know that you have a bunch of core pillars. So yeah, the floor is yours. Thank you.
As I indicated before, we've got several pillars, and they're classified as core pillars and non-core pillars. So I'll only touch on 5 of them, and I've already touched on the social VR metaverse platform. So I'll skim through that very quickly for you because I don't want to repeat myself. This is a net zero carbon footprint based social VR metaverse platform that, as I indicated before, is powered by a decentralized carbon offsets and circular economy marketplace platform, and a community builder tool for incentivized community climate actions and other impactful causes at the grassroot level. This platform is built to help users to connect socially, but it's also about enabling users to broadcast or, to put it more clearly, live stream high quality immersive video content to local or global audiences using 360 or 180 cameras and mobile devices. Now, this platform also offers users sovereignty. That was a problem that we identified. I think we all know the issues with Facebook, where what they were doing with our data, and they're still doing with our data, I suspect. This platform offers users user sovereignty, which allows users to own the metaverse, monetize their content, control their own data, and contribute to a net zero carbon footprint, which we discussed already, and circular waste economy at the same time. It has 3 major interfaces. The first one is a social networking service. And if you look at our white paper, there's some images there. It means when you're looking at your phone or you're looking at your device, the interface that you'll be looking at initially, we'll be looking at the social networking service. This is for virtual social media connection between users in the metaverse. Then you've got the more professional one interface, which you can click in. You can click and it takes you to that interface for users to broadcast or consume live stream or on demand via content in CliQverse. This one we were more drawing on from our own backgrounds as entertainment promoters, we owned our own venues, and we kind of realized that the days of gigs, the promoters of gigs just relying on get tickets are long gone. And of course, we had the new boys in town, the Zooms, the YouTubes reconfiguring themselves, TikTok, but we determined that there's something that was actually missing, and that was allowing people to have a more immersive experience of those live events from remote locations, that they could be at any gig in the world, attend any event in the world, or be in with their loved ones in events, even though they were not able to attend. So this social network service interface will take care of that. So people will be able to, whether they want to monetize their event or not, that's not the issue. If they want to monetize their event, they could actually advertise, and they, apart from the physical tickets or the physical crowd that they have, anybody around the world can actually log in for an amount and actually watch the event. And because of the usage of the cameras, we're talking about a situation where you could actually be able to even access the green room if you wanted to, because the concept itself is more focused on that in terms of the consumption of this technology, the point of view is with the consumer. So you can choose when you're attending an event how you'd like to watch it, from what position you'd like to watch it, depending on the cameras that are available. And the third interface, that is a carbon footprint calculator, which means at the end of it, you could actually calculate the amount of carbon you've actually generated. But that calculator will also ask you, in terms of your weekly activities that are basically outside our platform, whether you want to also to erase those carbon footprints. And when you click that to erase those carbon, you're actually accessing our Click exchange at the click of a button, because you are seamlessly buying the carbon offsets that are available for sale in our Click exchange. And I will cover that. This leads me to the Click exchange. This is a source and engine of all carbon offsets required to erase the carbon footprints in our cryptoverse and ecosystem and elsewhere, as I've indicated before, that we had to change and actually adopt that way of thinking. The platform has two major features. First, you've got the global electronic exchange for buying and selling of voluntary carbon offsets. So what that means, anybody who's already generating carbon offsets could actually come in and actually sell their carbon offsets, on our exchange. But we went further than that, to the extent that apart from the existing sellers, we also will be using our token and will be using our community builder to make sure that we are creating new incentivizing those sellers to actually generate more carbon offsets, and also to create a situation where people can be incentivized to participate in creating carbon offsets. So that means creating a new bunch of actually carbon supplies. The second interface of that exchange is a circular economic classified interface, and this is for buying and selling circular economy and eco-sustainable products. So anybody who's actually creating products that are eco-sustainable, that actually reduce waste, waste that can't actually be disposed of, those you can actually sell those products on our exchange. And now, what's different between our exchange and the existing exchanges that deal with carbon offsets? The first part, and this is a major distinction, anybody who sells or buys carbon offsets, sells or buys a circular economy product on that exchange will actually be entitled to receive action points. Now, these action points, these are inflationary stellar assets, which will never be listed, so they will not have value in terms of being sold, but they play a role in ensuring that when you sell, you are actually able to receive action points. And those action points, when you reach a certain threshold, you can actually convert them. You can convert them into CliQ tokens. So you can access tangible benefits by either buying or selling those products on our platform. Now, the second part of that is what I was talking about before, which is the integrity part. What we decided is to build a blockchain-based carbon exchange, and to make sure that all the certifiers of carbon offsets certificates, unless your system is actually linked to our system, which means when you generate a certificate, automatically that certificate shows up, on our platform. You cannot sell those offsets on our platform because we cannot guarantee the authenticity of those certificates. So that integrity system that we've created does not exist at the moment. It is unique to us. So when you're looking at the third part of it, the distinction part, the use of our community builder tool, which is unique to us, to incentivize and to operate in tandem with the CliQ exchange to ensure that people are being rewarded, to ensure that the mechanism for integrity of the carbon offsets are actually beyond impeachment, whatever word one may want to use. So that is what we are actually building, and that is what we are actually offering. So this is what I'd like to say about the CliQ exchange, and there's more in our lab paper, but I don't want to go beyond what I've said already. And if you have any questions on it before I move on to the third pillar, I'll be happy to address any questions.
I just wanna touch on the circular product. So and just kind of recap a little bit more and just touch further, so that way I want to make sure that our community understand what you guys are doing here. So the CliQ exchange, you guys are trading carbon offsets, right? To neutralize the carbon footprint that you guys, because when you're on the internet, you're literally producing a carbon footprint. But the circular product, economy product, meaning that What it is that you are pretty much trading products that focusing on maybe the durability of the product, right? So the whole concept is that you want to environmental awareness. People are trading products that maybe this product is designed to last longer, right?
Correct.
It has extended product lifetime where maybe you can trade with each other products where maybe I can rent it to you instead of actually just own it outright where I own 100% and just sit
By
there,
second
right?
hand. By second hand.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's what he means by circular economy products. So everything is around is actually focusing on the environment. So that's what the exchange is for.
And you get
And
action points. You get the action points, which you can convert into a CliQ tokens, and you can actually convert that into cash.
exactly. All right, sounds good. Yeah, I just want to touch up on that really quick because I know a lot of people may not know what a circular economy products are. So thank you, but not. So let's go into your next one.
The next one is a CliQX Builder. This is a community builder platform. This is a unique community building toolset solution for enabling users to incentivize each other to participate in climate actions, generate new carbon offsets, buy existing carbon, or support other impactful community causes free of government intervention. What do we mean by other impactful community causes? We realize there are community causes that are either arising from the impact of climate change or actually may cause or may lead without actually being tackled, may actually impact the other way around. So we thought, apart from what we are doing, we can create those clauses, we can create that opening. It means we are not the custodians of ideas, because those ideas, as we go along, the community will actually let us know exactly what it is that we need to include, and our board will be taking care of that. This platform is the cog in the wheel that binds and drives all CliQverse components to function as one unit using the CliQ token. From somebody using the platform, our social via metaverse platform, to sell their NFTs or their merchandise, or to do their live gig and be paid for it, you'll be using the community builder tool. As long as everything that you are doing on that platform relates to you actually erasing carbon footprints, you get a reward. And you get a reward in action points, which you can accumulate. Or it means you're somebody who's selling or buying. Again, you will be using the community builder. It is the fulcrum of our cryptoverse. This incentivizing mechanism itself relies on a minting process, which is driven by a subjective proof of work consensus mechanism. Now, when you ask me about subjective proof of work consensus mechanism, what do we mean? This means participants are rewarded for real work in the community, and the definition of proof of work in CliQverse exists outside the source code itself. It is what you've done in the community, the contribution that you've actually done in the community, that your community builder who has actually set up the criteria of actions that can earn points can allow you, after you've done that one, those actions, and it's been validated by the community builder can actually tick off. Now, it is important to explain what that means, because one might wonder, okay, then this community builder is ticking off, where they're getting their tokens from. There's two ways, and it's all related to the minting process. There are two ways in which anybody can own. How can I put it clearly? You can only own CliQ tokens in two ways. First one, either via donation and minting those tokens through a minting process by contributing good work in the community that actually helps alleviate the problems of climate change. Or secondly, you can be an external organization or a community builder that actually is interested in incentivizing people to undertake those actions for your organization. And it can be an individual. When I said incentivize each other out, what I meant was this. So, for example, somebody who decides they want to spend $1,000 of their dollars basically buying action points. When you spend that money, but you don't have to spend that money because it can be as low as $10, start as low as $10 going up. When you spend those kinds of money, you might want to be a community builder yourself. And you might actually, because it's a plugin that actually appears on your webpage, it means anybody, or you can set the criteria, and people can actually, who want to do good, can register themselves and participate in your community building actions, you as an external community builder. For the donation ones, what that means is our board, which is an independent board. That board will be responsible for identifying organizations that are already undertaking good action and incentivizing them to do more, or organizations that can actually adopt these activities. And what that means, we will donate the tool to them, and that tool will actually have action points attached to that tool, and the criteria that have already been preset for them to actually use. And their action will simply be to supervise and validate those activities. So we're talking about donating donating the community builder to reputable organizations. Those are the ones that will participate in our minting process. The external minting process, others can handle that, but the tool that we've created allows them to do that. So if people can understand the difference in terms of a consensus, in terms of a proof of a definition of work, that is important. And in that minting process, as I indicated, participants will receive action points for the work and be able to convert the action points to CliQ tokens. That is a unique process that is only available to our project. I wonder if there's any questions on that. Yeah.
No, that's actually very forward. So pretty much a platform that incentivizes people, communities, and organization, business example, to participate in the climate. I guess to achieve the net zero carbon footprint, right? Very straightforward. So I mean, you're allowing people, I guess, I don't know if the right word to say mindful, or I guess environmental awareness people or mindfulness people to participate, come together. So that's actually really cool. Sounds good. Thanks, Bernard. What is next?
The next part, I will skip through our green fund, because people can actually, it is easy for them to understand that part, and like every other part, if you read our light paper. The next part I'd like to go to address is the fifth part of a core pillar, and that's a CliQ token. I'm sure most of the participants here, they're probably trying to understand how can we contribute and what are the benefits for us in participating in this project. The CliQ token is a deflationary utility green metaverse native currency of a cryptoverse, and it lies at the very heart of the ecosystem, and is designed to power and drive every aspect of the CliQverse, including user interaction, transaction, and socialization. This is a token for everyone. It is not limited to certain groups of people that can afford. No, its utility is across our entire cryptoverse. Anything that is bought or sold in a cryptoverse will use a CliQ token. Now, the other thing one might ask, why Stellar? Why Stellar? This is a question that we were asked before. And for those that are not familiar with the Stellar blockchain, just quick rundown. It is an open source layer 1 blockchain, and it's built to make easier transactions in international money transfers and asset exchanges. And it has a unique consensus algorithm called the Stellar Consensus Protocol that is different to the other consensus mechanisms that you're looking at. But the benefits are the ones that attracted us. And when we did our calculations, we picked Stellar because we knew if we were to create access and to allow adoption at a faster rate, Stellar was our natural choice. It's fast, it's energy sufficient, it is secure, and it's got low fees and low transaction fees. And their partnerships, the ones they entered into with the MoneyGram, those are game changers for us. They were game changers to us in this sense. If you are looking at community builders that are located in remote areas, there's some that actually may be, for them to convert and for them to be able to access actual dollars, they will need to go to the MoneyGrams. So we picked that part of MoneyGram, and we thought it was a natural fit for our project because the transaction, we are looking at transaction in across the platforms on a daily basis. It turn up to maybe at some point, we are talking about at every single second, our token is being used in some way. So we needed to have a network with very low fees, and Stellar has those low fees. That's why Stellar. That's why we picked Stellar. In terms of use case, there are some might say obvious, but I'll cover them this way. For us, it's to create a fair and transparent economy, a token that can support new identity experiences, allow the purchase of properties, marketing tool, that if you're looking at event promoters, access control, that is to events, and empowerment, that it is a token that will actually be useful to incentivize people to do things that they may be interested in doing at the moment, but there is no incentive for them to do it. This token will do that. I wonder if there's any questions on that.
No, I have no questions on that. Very straightforward. Now I do have some questions regarding I guess we'll go ahead and finish your presentation. I do want to go back and touch on each core pillar, like where is the development stage and what's going to be ready at launch, etc.
I'll be happy to address that. I probably can address that now.
Okay.
The first one, excuse me, the social VR metaverse platform. For those that may not have read our white paper, there are 5 phases to it, and the first phase of our social VR metaverse platform, that will be available within 6 months. I'm using within 6 months in the sense that the calculations that we have, in terms of generating that first phase, should take us 4 months, but I would rather use 6 months. In terms of the Click Exchange, the whole Click Exchange will be available within 8 months. The community builder tool, we built that it was ready in 2021. And we decided to make some changes on that platform, and that platform will be rolled out by the 1st of April of 2024. So you are looking at different timeline for different platforms. And the thing I need to mention here, which I actually didn't touch on before, is that each platform has an independent team. Each platform is designed in a way that it should be able to be profitable in its own right, based on the transactions that are involved in those platforms. I wonder whether that is the question. Those are the answers you are seeking. But in our LAT paper, if you go back and read our LAT paper, the roadmap is articulated there. We will update it shortly, but at this stage, it is on track.
Yes, thank you for that the update there. So the metaverse will be done in 6 months. The exchange be done in 8 months. It looks like you have the builders already done since 2021 already. Okay. Is that? I know there's a lot within your ecosystem, but is that pretty much all the things that you want to speak on today, there, Bernat? Looks like we can't hear you. Hello? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. Looks like we lost.
Somehow I was. Oh no, I'm back. Sorry, I was speaking to myself. I apologize for that. Those are the things we wanted to talk about in terms of an overview of our project. And I'm curious whether there are any other questions that on issues that I may have probably not covered clearly, or maybe the audience might want to know about?
Yeah, so we will have a period towards the end of the presentation. We do have a bunch of questions from the community, and Mike will come on and ask that later when we're done presenting your project here. But in regards to questions, I do have a couple questions in regards to the tokenomics. So right now, I do see that you guys are doing a pre-sale, correct, on your website. What is the hard cap that you guys are trying to raise?
Excuse me. The hard cap in this one is 3 million.
Okay, so 3 million for total. And have you guys had any rounds, like seed round, private round, prior to this round?
We've had private rounds. Those ones, the seed. I'm talking about the seed rounds, and those ones we were able to raise up to about $280,000 on those ones.
Okay, so you raised 280,000, and you guys looking to raise 3 million altogether. Real quick, is there going to be vesting for the seed round, and even if there's the pre-sale round at all?
Because ours is an IDO. Because ours is an IDO, it means it means for the founders, for the staff, all of those ones, their vesting periods are indicated. So I don't have it. I can bring them up if you give me 1 second. This will only affect. Also, 1 second. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Just give me 1 second. The vesting periods are more related to us, the project founders and the advisors and the staff who are involved in this project. But because this is an IDO, it means when the IDO closes, you can not us. Ours are vested, but for all the people that have actually purchased during the pre-sales, it is open for them to be able to transact on those tokens. Because we are not using a launchpad that can lock, can basically vest in the normal way, but because we're using it is an IDO. It pretty much means when we close, if you bought our tokens during a pre-sale, it is zero vesting there.
Okay, got it. So the founders token are vested, but the IDO or the rounds that you guys are raising money right now, you get the tokens immediately, which is very normal. Okay.
But for us, ours are vested. Unless we are successful in delivering, meeting our key performance indicators, no, we will not be having any access to that for some time. Which we are happy with. It is not a problem for us. Yeah.
And you guys have a set date as to when it's gonna maybe launch on?
On the 17th of this
December
month.
17th. Okay.
December 17th, our IDO will open.
December 17th. Okay. And how many rounds right now are you guys gonna do? So I guess it kind of depends, right? You guys are just gonna keep on going until 3 million, or is there a soft cap? Let's say you meet like a certain minimum number, and you guys say, you know what, we're gonna launch no matter what, or it has to reach the hard cap.
It does not have to reach the hard cap. We are going to launch no matter what. We are launching no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, you guys been working at this since 2017. That's
6 years.
A lot of time.
That's a long time. That's a very, very long time. I think everybody else on my end, they are, yes, you can ask a lot, but everything has its limit. Yes.
Right. Now, I definitely like the idea around environmental awareness for sure. Given that the crypto space, the demographic in the crypto space, I assume that's the age demographic is pretty young. That's my assumption. I'm not sure. Uh, how are you targeting? Like, I guess, what is the marketing strategy to onboard businesses? I guess just businesses and people in real life, people to utilize your exchange or even your metaverse. What is the marketing strategy?
First cup of the rank, that is a community builder, and it will come up, and it means we can actually start. We can actually start in terms of creating those community building activities. Now, the question that, if I understand you correctly, which also will also impact on the value of the token itself, is in terms of how are we going to attract the target audience that we are looking at. Number one, the value of this token is based more on the community. It means it's the vibrancy of it. So, and the vibrancy of it, because of what we are actually dealing with, it means we are dealing with individuals, we are dealing with private entities, we are dealing with public entities to a large extent. So all of those ones will actually be targeted differently. Now, the individuals will probably be more interested in the gamification element of it, and they'll be more interested in terms of actually accessing those rewards. So our pitch is different to that group compared to private business that are actually interested in participating in this project. For private business, their attraction to us, apart from various partnerships, the attraction to us will be in terms of what is available in the exchange. If our exchange is vibrant, if we've created a platform that is attractive to existing projects that are producing carbon offsets, then that is our basis of pitch. It has to be addressed that way. And for other NGOs, it is, for them, it's the pitch will be in terms of actually at Genesis. I've got to address this, because at Genesis, what will mean the distributions that we are going to be doing starting from the 1st of April next year is for us to identify organizations that we can start to donate our community builders to. And that means to distribute our tokens in the community. Now, those ones, that's a level of interest that we need to target in terms of how we actually distribute our tokens. I'm not sure. I have a feeling I did.
Yeah, I definitely love the business model, and I'm very sure that you guys do have a strong marketing strategy, because when I see this project, I definitely see the vision behind it, and I think it's very good for the environment as well. But the thing is that in the crypto space here, you have very young demographic in the crypto space, right? So I'm not very sure if they're very in tune with the carbon footprint and circular economy products, etc. So it's almost as if you have to simultaneously onboard. So the value of the token is also, of course, you got the crypto side of it, but also you also need the traditional side of it, right? Like the real life side
Yes.
of it, where the businesses have to be onboarded as well, and even the regular people on board. Oh, go ahead, brother.
The young, I probably didn't do justice in my answer to you, and I have to acknowledge that very, very clearly. When you're talking about the social VR metaverse platform, and we're talking about events, if you, as a young person, attend an event hosted by organization that have adopted our project to the extent that they're also a community builder, it means the ticket that you buy for that gig, for that event, will entitle you to claim action points, because they are community builders themselves. That is one way of looking at it. Now, in terms of the initial distribution that I was talking about to organizations, we are very attracted to youth organizations that are already participating in this space, and they're actually more vocal at the moment in terms of the fight against climate change than the older generation. Now, those groups, for us, climate actions, participating in those events, that will be enough for them to actually be able to generate action points, which they can convert into CliQ tokens. And guess what? They can use that money to go and buy a ticket to go and watch another gig, or to go and buy something. The challenge for us, and this is something we take very seriously, is for us to make sure that the incentivizing mechanism using the community builder, number one, is also fun, creates a sense of community, but also at the same time should be in a position to project that the action people are undertaking, their participatory actions in our events that are covered by our token, they can actually receive tangible rewards, not a loyalty program that asks you to spend $300,000 and in the end you get a kettle as a prize. That is not what we are looking for. The value for us is in terms of what a young person puts out in their community by participating in climate action activities or adopting the sustainable living lifestyle, means without even thinking they're entitled to access action points from us. So I think the challenge for us will be to ensure that part is projected across the board, that the lifestyle that you are leading as a young person, you can be doing exactly the same thing if you're already on the path, but the difference is now there's a new project that can actually reward you for that good work that you've already been doing.
Interesting. I like that a lot. Actually, I like that a lot. You're right. There are so many groups out there, organizations out there already doing what they're doing as far as, help impacting the environment in a positive way already. So you guys are targeting those group. That's actually very smart. And there's actually a big demographic. Now, with that being said, let's say I'm part of an organization. I'm going out there, vouching for ways to, do whatever things to do for to mitigate climate change, etc. How are you onboarding me? So how, if you go into my organization, you say, hey, Seattle, I have this project, right? CliQverse, you know, it's going to reward me for what I'm already doing. Walk me through the steps. How are you onboarding me? What are the pain points and how easy it is to onboard me into your platform?
Okay, let's look at your group, US crypto group. So your US crypto group decides and says, we're going to, in our local areas, these are the climate action activities that we are going to be undertaking. And you are presenting your proposal to our board, which you can do electronically. And you are presenting it and you're saying, this is what we're going to do in our area. Even your group, there's nothing stopping your group to be onboarded as community builders. What does that mean? It means that if we've looked at your project and we've made an assessment of your project, and we can, all of these ones will again be decentralized to regions, to area. It won't be centralized, but it means that you, even yourself, today, even by April, you can present yourself. This is what we are going to do. An assessment is made, and a decision is made for you to be adopted as a community builder. When you're adopted as a community builder, you will receive our tool, and that tool you'll receive will contain the action points. And you can only basically distribute the action points after conducting the validation. So if you are to tell us, we are going to be for example, your organization or a scouts group somewhere says, we're going to go in this area and we're going to be planting this number of trees. You get the tool for your organization. You go and you complete the work. The validation is done that you've actually completed the work, because the people that also do the validation are rewarded for actually, those are separate group of people that sets of community builders that can actually validate and get rewarded for validating that work has actually been done. And once you do that, those action points that you've received with the community builder are released to you. And you, as an organization now, you know who performed better than who spent. We are not involved in that. It is once those tokens the action points have been released to you, and you've already done the work, how you distribute to your members, that is also the decentralization part. So there is nothing stopping your organization, you as an individual, becoming a community builder. Those assessments are based on the proposals that have actually been delivered to us. And we will have projects that ourselves, the board, will actually actively go out and make those assessments and offer those organizations. The other way around is for organizations to come to us or individuals to come to us. And we will be more interested in new projects in this way, whether it is an organization that has an existing project and is pitching to expand what they're doing or diversify into new projects. Those organizations are more interested because we're expanding the space. We are not just rewarding what is existing. That is not what we are all about. we're about sustaining, supporting, incentivizing what exists, but more so to push them to elevate themselves and to get new players into the space who can go out and do their calculations and say, you know what, if I do the calculations and if this project is actually adopted and I do the work, the current market value of CliQ token is this much. It means I can make this much. So whether we'll be creating new businesses in that way, fantastic. We have no problem with it, because at the end of the day, for us, it's the outcome. If we have, put it this way, and I will run through just some things that I want to talk about, and I'll do them in this session. How does success look like for the CliQverse project? Okay. First of all, the number of users on our 3 platforms. Secondly, the monetization of content in our CliQverse social platform. Level of trading of carbon offsets and circular economy products on our CliQ exchange platform. 4, you're looking at the increased adoption of sustainable lifestyles by community members and participation by community members. So new ideas. 5, we're talking about existence of a vibrant community groups across the world supporting decentralized community building actions. I mean, wouldn't it be fantastic that we wake up one day and we have in like the lungs of the world, you've got community builders, as I indicated before, in Congo, you've got community builders in Brazil, you've got community builders in Papua New Guinea's villages that who probably now are outside the financial system, and all of a sudden realizing that they could actually, number one, claim the action points for what they're already doing, and number 2, they could actually claim for new projects that they want to do. So if you look at the distribution of wealth, and excuse my language, the nonsense that is going on at COP28, how is that relevant to a villager or a chief in Papua New Guinea, or a villager or a chief in Congo, or a villager or a chief in the Amazon? Those are the people that, if we were to win this fight for climate change, those are the people we need to bring into the sphere. And in terms of the number 6 for us, in terms of success, of course, it's the rate of adoption of the CliQ token by the wider society. And the only way that adoption can happen is if we are successful in generating those community builders. And that 7 is obvious, the rate and value of the CliQ token, because everybody that is receiving the action points, anybody that is buying the CliQ token just to be able to stake in some ways for passive income, the value is everything, and that value to us is dependent on those community builders and the level of distribution of our tokens in those, across the world. That is how we conceptualized our project.
Yeah, I definitely see your vision for sure. I think it is a very, very massive project, and I think it's actually needed for the world itself, right? Yeah, I definitely look forward to see you. Go ahead.
I will qualify that when because you use the word massive, and when somebody uses when somebody says, this is big," it is important for us to qualify that when that is said. It is It is not in terms of the size, because everything that we've set out to build are actually reasonable, achievable, and they're doable. What we cannot do is to say that we are creating this community builder that nobody can work out how it is. It is so fantastic, but it's so sophisticated that nobody can understand what we're talking about. That is not what we are doing. What we're simply asking, and we're making very simple proposition. The first proposition we are making is that we can actually use crypto to get people back to basics. It's all about getting people back to basics. Get out. Be part of your community. And because we understand greed exists, we're going to incentivize you to do it. You want money, go out, participate. But if greed is what motivates you and you still assist us in getting our outcome, fantastic. There's no problem with that. The second proposition that we are making is that, isn't it about time that the crypto and the blockchain should go back to how it was conceptualized, the kind of disruption that people were looking at, that you could actually make changes that by the end of next year, if you were to ask me and say, what has the CliQverse project done? And I will say, we've got this number of community builders. We've got these community builders. This is what they have done. These are the images they have done. These are the testimonials from all those projects already exist. You can actually see them. We cannot continue to live in the digital space alone. We have to use this space to change our world in the real sense. So those are the propositions that we are making. And massive no, we're saying yes, that should only mean in terms of actually our intentions.
Yeah, I definitely see the value proposition on every single core pillars that you have. The value proposition is there 100%. And I love the fact that you're very passionate about it as well. And I do look forward to see your journey. I really wish that you succeed. I think it's a great,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. It's a great project, but it's great for the environment, right? So if you are able to, I guess, onboard the masses as far as the builder into the platform, like you said, you have organizations out there already doing it, right? Just about tapping into that environment and onboard them. And yeah, I look forward to see the strategies behind that.
Yeah. And the people that are here, our audience here today, our audience that are here today, you are the change makers. It is not the next person that should wait to do this. The most tangible way for you to support our project is, number one, participate in our pre-sale. Buy some tokens. Those tokens are valuable because they fund our developers who are in different parts of the world. And the second part about it is you've got a platform. Like that simple retweet or talking about our project, that's how we have 146 people here today. And it may not look that we are not talking about millions, but the 146 people that are here today, there are the sufficient number of people that we could get today to participate in this project. So I ask you and I say, support this project. And if you have any questions, shoot us, send us a message, and you'll find us like very receptive to new ideas. Actually, even new ideas will be good. People who actually look at our project and go, oh, I think you need to add this one. I think if you can buy our token to support our project. You can give us our feedback to support our project. You can promote our project. You can highlight our project to people that don't know anything about our project. That's how you can support our project.
Well said. And I think we, including myself, this is the type of project that I would love to see succeed. You're doing great for the world in general as a whole. So I really wish you succeed. You come across very passionate about this, and I love that. I like founders that are passionate about the project, what they do, and they wholeheartedly believe in it. And I feel like you're
Thank
one
you.
of them. So
Thank you.
it's good to see. So Bennett, great presentation. I love the idea of the project. I think it's necessary. I think if we are mindful a bit about how we do things, I guess our carbon footprint, then I think we can leave a better world. So with that being said, Bennett, we do have some questions from the community. Mike has been keep tracking the questions, and he's going to come on and ask a few questions away. Okay. All right, Mike, the floor is yours, brother.
Thank you, Seattle. Thank you, Bernard. Great presentation there.
Thank you, Mike.
We're going to get right into the text community questions here. First one's coming in from Boston. His question is about the Treasury's 10% allocation. His question is, could you provide a detailed breakdown of how the Treasury's 10% allocation is strategically distributed and utilized within the CliQ Tokenomics? And how does this allocation contribute to the growth and development of your CliQ ecosystem?
Fantastic question. Thank you. Thank you to whoever asked that question. Maybe this is because I probably didn't cover the green fund part. What we decided, we understood that the number one is to make sure the circulating supply is deflationary and the rate of it. And secondly was to make sure that the future value of the fund, the future value of the fund, the 10% you're talking about, that 10% will actually be under the control of the fund. And those 10% will not be distributed outside the minting process. Now, what does that mean? There will be no. Well, I think it's the decision was 3 years, and we were looking at doing 6 years. But for 6 years, apart from the current allocation for minting, for community development, the current allocation for crowd sale, and what will be distributed to the founders. It simply means that in future, community builders will have an opportunity to vote whether it is necessary to, number one, to release more tokens for community building through the minting process for people to do more work, and secondly, to set the amount that can be available for the future minting processes. So it will depend on those future decisions that are made. They may decide not to. But what happens though to the future fund when the token value appreciates? It means every amount that is actually held by the treasury, which is available for the future fund, that is our war chest. That is our war chest in terms of fighting climate actions. Right now, for organizations that want to be funded to undertake those activities. They have to beg the characters that are at COP28. You've got a head of the head of COP28 who's actually running deals while he's actually running the event. What we're simply saying, this is a fund that if you participate in this project, you are helping to build that fund. The 10% you're talking about, that's a deposit for that fund. It is not for distribution back to the community. The only way in future you could be able to access the CliQ token will be via a token that has been minted through good action that is available for sale in exchanges. Then you buy. But it will not be a case of the 10% or any of the other amounts being distributed. No, that will never happen. The project has not been set out that way.
Very good. Appreciate that nice breakdown you gave us there, Bernard. Next question is coming in from the community about the metaverse. This question is pertaining to what type of content or ad revenues that we're going to be seeing inside of this metaverse. And also, is it going to be limited to certain criteria, or can this also, be such as X-rated content allowed inside this metaverse? There's another part to the question, but I'll let you answer that part.
I'll start with the last question. Okay, I'll start with the last question. The answer to that is no. The answer to that is no. If you read our paper, you find the part we've touched on the issues of safety at the end, and that is safe. We have to create a safe environment. This is our approach. This is the approach we took. It's easier to find developers or to find people who can create very nice platforms, such platforms. But it is hard to find developers who know what to do and what not to do. Our interest is in terms of those who know what not to do, because the history of the misuse of the other platform is there for the evidence is there available to all of us. I mean, nowadays when I click on my what is this Twitter X at times some images come up and I ask myself, I can't remember signing myself to this. So we are not those platforms. There are other platforms that can do a better job in that. This is not those. This is the metaverse that we are creating is targeted for a community that shares our vision. Now, the idea that somebody will come in and be and turn our platform into an immersive version of OnlyFans, no, that will not happen. That is not our project. And the other questions, if you could repeat the first two questions, if you don't mind.
Sure. Let me get back up to it. Let's see here.
So that I get it clearly what you're asking.
Yep. So the question was about the. Hold on 1 second. There it is. The question was about the advertising content inside of the metaverse. what is going to be the criteria for people to be able to, purchase ad spots, if there is any, inside your metaverse?
That's a very interesting question. It is a very interesting question in the sense that naturally you're looking at ad in general is not bad, but ad in certain ads are bad, and the frequency of certain ads are bad, and then also they're using algorithms to market to people ads that they were not even interested in. That is problematic. So yes, so we are not saying that there won't be ads, in our platform. What we're saying is that our the controls we have is in terms of the ads that will be allowed on the platform. Those are the ones that will probably those decisions are decisions that we will have to make in future. But remember this: these platforms, for this project to be successful, each platform needs to be successful in their own right. It means each platform needs to be able to pay its bills, in their own right. The question is how you go about doing that. So, there will be an ad, somebody is running wants to run an ad about the actions they've been taking in fighting climate change. Yes, that's an ad. There's somebody wants to run an ad on how they've improved on their the food they were providing before, now how their food is more conscious to their contribution to the environment. That's an ad. So it is very hard to say that we cannot have ads. What type of ads is probably a better question.
Yes, very good there. Yeah, exactly that's what the question is what type of ads could you see? But you answered that there, Bernard. Appreciate that. Next question is about partnerships. I don't think we talked about any that you might currently have. Could you break down any possible partnerships that you have developed over the years and maybe looking to onboard in the future?
We are shooting off the block, so to speak, as everybody knows. But at the same time, we've identified and gone into partnership with one community, designated community builder. They are producing a renewable power source that will use all these microgrids and will be very relevant in the developing world for areas where you might not be able to access or in terms of actually power connections. Now, the partnerships we've actually created with them is that they will be, for what they do, they will be generating carbon offsets credits, and we will support that. We will support every carbon credit they are generating, entitled across the world. They're starting to roll that out. Every carbon credit they're actually generating, they're entitled to action points, which is extra revenue for their project. And also, it means, apart from what they're actually charging for power rates, they'll be charging for power rates, the carbon offsets, they can sell them, in our exchange, extra revenue. So it works both ways, and they're rolling this. They're targeting Africa as we speak as their starting point, and the CEO is one of our advisors. That is number one. On number two, number three, what I wanted to talk about is that in terms of what the audience needs to understand, we've got a 2-track approach. We've got the crowd sale, that is what we are dealing with in this AMA session, and we've got the partnerships that will come through our grant applications. We are making grants to federal and local and state governments in Australia. And there's nothing stopping us from making the same grant applications in other countries around the world as our presence develops. It means that because of what we are doing, for example, like in terms of our project focusing on incentivizing farmers to be rewarded for undertaking certain actions in Australia, and them being able to be classified as community builders and receive extra income by participating in our project, it means we are able to access those grants in Australia. And when we're not finished through that process hasn't been finished yet, so I can't talk about the outcome, but it means we'll have those kinds of partnerships too. For every grant that is given to us to support our project from the government, it means the respective government has to be acknowledged as a partner. So you'll quickly see very soon the technology partnerships that we're already discussing, and other types of partnerships in terms of NGOs. Those ones you will see very shortly, but the government side you will also see, because their agencies in Australia, their agencies are the ones that will also be supporting what we're doing.
Very good. Appreciate that, Bernard. Last question I'm going to ask you here is, if you could pick, this might be a little hard, if you could choose one thing, my question to you is, what has been the most difficult or the hardest task of the CliQverse project that you've had to build out or currently building right now? What is the most difficult part of CliQverse that you have had to build?
I would say the social VR metaverse platform, in the sense that in terms of how we are doing it. By that I mean we're not reinventing the wheel, but the decisions that we made to go in a certain directions means it is hard for me to say it was hard, because our developers, the leader is a PhD in that field. The team leader is a PhD in that area. So we didn't get from him that he was troubled converting our concept and what we actually wanted to do. So I'm trying to imagine what was hard. I think the conceptualizing how we could get net zero, I think that was probably in the cryptoverse, I think that was probably one of the hardest bit, because just how to play with those moving parts to make sure that we get a net zero, I think that was probably the hardest part. But if I was to say which which platform will probably consume more work, it will definitely be the social VR metaverse platform.
I appreciate the honesty there, Bernard. Is there any last words that you'd like to give the USA community here?
Number one, thank you. I mean, it is an opportunity for us to be able to introduce our project to your community. And the last part, I emphasize what I said before, is that there's 3 ways that you can support this project. Be good to us. If that, be good to us. Like this is a project that you'll be proud of. You will look at it and you will say, I was at the beginning of that process. I supported that process. And it's not just that you will just get pat on the back and there you go. No, there are tangible benefits even to yourselves for actually supporting this project at this rate. Because if you look at the pre-sale amount and you look at our IDO price, that should tell you in about 15 days, we're talking about a projected IDO price that should be tangible for you in terms of benefits.
Awesome. Thank you for the last words there, Bernard. That was an awesome, well-articulated presentation that you have given the USA community here. We just did also pin your Telegram back into our chat room right now. If the community has any further questions that you would like to ask, please head on over and be part of the community and ask the team any questions you might have. And with that being said, thank you as well. We're going to turn this over now to the giveaway. Let me share my screen here. All right, guys, we're going to spin up this wheel. And while this is spinning, I'm going to shuffle this up a little bit. I want to remind everybody that we do have a $25 Twitter giveaway currently going on right now. Go like, retweet, drop a comment. We'll pick that winner tomorrow. And also stay tuned. We're going to upload to YouTube. Bernard, we're also going to get you a copy of this YouTube as soon as it's all uploaded there. And there's going to be an additional $15 opportunity for the community to jump in on. All you got to do is like and drop a comment there, and that will also be chosen tomorrow. And it looks like SR is our winner on our wheel today. Congratulations, SR. You have won yourself $20. And that's it for the wheel, guys. And that was a great AMA. Bernard, I want to ask, thank you again for coming into USA Crypto Group today and presenting CliQverse to everybody. And look forward to seeing all the hard work that you've put in the past 6 years come into fruition.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Bernard. We'll chat soon.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank
you. All right, guys. Bye-bye. We'll see you on the next one.
All right, guys. See ya. Bye-bye.